want to talk about real racism, I'll be honest. Black people are the most racist people, bro.
Oh yeah, I know.
They openly do it, and it's because and the reason why is because they're able to openly be racist with zero consequence, so they can say what they want to say. You know, like literally, I'll see them say the most deplorable things about white people, but they feel as that they can do it because of slavery and everything else like that. And I'm like, it's interesting because you guys perpetuate the very thing that you cry about the most.
Yes, he's right, and I call it black privilege. If a white person's racist, they're ostracized from society. People don't want to interact with them, they won't do business with them. Perfectly reasonable. If a black person is racist, they find excuses for that person. Well, you know, we were oppressed back in the day in slavery, so it's okay if we're racist now. White people will hold other white people accountable for being racist. Black people, on the other hand, the vast majority of black people will not hold other black people accountable for being racist. Many people will go even as far to try to say that black people can't be racist. That is stupid. But many of us say we want racism to disappear, but we continue to perpetuate the thing that we say we hate. It is not okay for a black person to be racist towards white people simply because slavery in history. It shouldn't be rules for thee, but not for me. If we don't want racism, let's hold everybody accountable across the board. But what he was saying is accurate, and it's a problem.
So with the H1B1 stuff coming on, I'm starting to notice a trend about people introducing race into conversation, and I want to highlight another aspect of race that no one really talks about. And as you saw from the intro, if you're a black liberal, you're not gonna like what I have to say, but hey, it has to be said. Is that when you guys say we suffered slavery, you are lying. You didn't suffer no slavery. What are you talking about? You picking back off a history of people that you may or may not have any connection to. You only share skin color with. Like, end of the day, none of y'all do ancestry.com. Y'all can't tell me the slave ancestor that you descended from. Some of you may be able to. Some of you are just believing what your parents told you. Who knows? But all I do know is when you guys use the word we, you mean your ancestors. Your ancestors faced this, but that means you didn't personally face this. And it goes back to this thought about equal treatment. Do you believe in equal treatment or not? Because end of the day, current discrimination only fuels more discrimination. And this is what many people, like such as myself, are against DEI, affirmative action. Like no one should be getting special treatment because of their skin color, because your skin color doesn't tell you enough. It doesn't tell you anything about a person. It's a very superficial standard to give people a leg up in society just because of their skin color. If I come from a good culture, a good moral background, a good family circumstance, and just because of the color of my skin, I have an advantage over someone from a similar circumstance, that's racism. Saying that someone can't be something because of their skin color is racism. Saying someone can't be racist because of their skin color is racism. You're using racism to justify more racism, make it make sense. And this is kind of the moral, this is why a lot of black Americans, their attack lines don't work anymore. This is why Black Lives Matter is losing its influence in our society. They're protesting in the street over what happened to the Daniel Penny verdict. You didn't hear much about it. You didn't hear much riots about it because people are realizing, yo, you just trying to finesse us. You trying to use our moral outrage to enrich yourself. This is nothing more than a race hustle. Al Sharpton style. Remember Al Sharpton when he's running around doing race riots in Harlem? I did my research. Minnesota's offering scholarship for inspiring teachers of color. One of the qualifications is you can't be white. Imagine this was reversed. If you do not believe this statement in the inverse, it means it is wrong. This is what it's called consistency. If this said Minnesota scholarships offering aspired teachers, one of the qualification is you can't be black, you would say that's racist. That just shouldn't be allowed. Okay, here it is. Here's the white version. Here's the inverse of that. You have to be consistent. No matter what position the thing is happening on, you have to be consistent in your answers when it's being applied. No one should be judged on their color of their skin. But here's an example of it. And you want tax money where most of it came from white people to fund their own racism and discrimination. Make it make sense. You can't justify this, right? You cannot. Like, there's no way in hell you can justify this, right? Everyone's seeing this article online. Everyone's seeing this. Corporate America pledged to hire more people of color. It actually did. You can't call hiring 94% of jobs coincidence, right? Because this is how y'all like to write it off. This is how liberals will try to write it off. Oh, this is just a coincidence. You mean in a country where 66% of the country is white, only 6% of them got hired? That sounds suspicious. Look at the change in unemployment, the change in employment since February 2020. 900,000 black white people lost their jobs. Hispanic gained 2 million jobs. Black people, 700,000 of them gained jobs. Asians gained jobs. But the only racial group that lost jobs, that went in a net negative since February 2020, was white people. You don't think this is intentional? I think this is intentional.
Corporate America pledged to hire more people of color. It actually did. The year after the BLM protest, 94% of jobs went to people of color. That is quite literally racism. They are discriminating against people based on the color of their skin to give other people jobs based on the color of their skin. And it's crazy to me because so many people say they want to move past racism, but they do racist things on a regular basis and actively work and continue to perpetuate racism. They just justify that racism because they're being racist against white people. So racism in today's modern society is okay as long as you're racist against white people, which to me is broken. Like, you want to tell, hey, white people, don't be racist to other people, but we're going to be racist to you. Like, what? Like, if we're going to complain about them being racist, let's not be racist to them. You're not going to fix past racism with modern racism. That's not how it works. The amount of energy we put into making things about race when it comes to employment is the amount of energy we should be putting into finding the best person for the job, regardless of race. That's how you give everybody the best opportunity.
Yeah, his name is Jeffrey Mid. Sorry about that. So one of the things I wanted to bring up as well was, I remember a lot on my channel, I used to bring up the Starbucks manager example, how she was fired for being white and she won a lawsuit for that. And this is why I laugh when black people say, "Oh, I've been discriminated against. I did this, that." I'm like, why you didn't file a lawsuit? And I always like to show that as the example. The Starbucks manager, look, I said, look, this white lady was able to do it. She was fired because of her skin color and she won millions of dollars. Where's your millions? You're missing out on millions right now, black people. Go ahead, go sue these corporations that they're really discriminating against you because of your skin color. And this is why I laugh at people who are still concerned about systematic racism. Ooh. I'm like, yo, you guys have pause for, like, you have a way of coming back from that. You have a way of holding people accountable. And this is some inconvenient truths, that, like, unflattering things that I point out about black culture. Some people say, Kenny, that's toxic black culture. And I'm like, maybe so, but majority of the time there's this expectation that black people are supposed to think a certain way. That's culture. Toxic black culture is saying something like that's very minuscule. Like, it's not, it doesn't represent the majority of what black people think. And I want to show you, I want to highlight this post by King Randall. This guy, he has his own school that he's trying to help young black men, young black boys without fathers get life skills, teach them etiquette, teach them ways of how they're supposed to operate in the world. And I remember vividly online, he was showing black boys how to eat properly with utensils, something that I was taught in my household, how to eat with fork and knives. And you have black people in the comment section saying, look at this guy teaching these black kids how to be white. And I was like, wow, having etiquette means to be white. And this is, it hits out of this idea that I have been standing against since as long as I can remember. This idea that traits are inherent by race, that you make things associated with race. For instance, I saw a Rubicon, like some type of woke ideology thing, that linear thinking is white culture. Showing up on time is white culture. Saving and investing your money is white culture. I'm like, huh? Huh? You want to associate these behaviors with race? And you wonder why some black people think they can't make it because of their race. Oh, I can't do things that are associated with white culture because I'm black. Imagine that. And this is what I'm talking about, the fixed mentality that the black community, black culture incentivize in its people. And I think this is the number one thing holding black people back. In the original post that was made, that someone hoped a Klan member would burn down my school, I said I think black folks will do it first because I get the most hate from black people. This is something black people don't. Bro, there's a reason why when poll, who is more likely to be racist? White people said black people. Hispanic people said black people. Black people said black people. Why? This is why. This stuff, this holding on to racial animosity, finding things to justify your racial animosity, this is holding black people back. And when they meet a black person that debunks the stereotype. Oh, I'm not a Democrat. Oh, I'm successful in my life. Oh, I have a home. If systematic racism is stopping black people from getting homes, how did me as a black person get this home loan? I have good credit. I have a low debt to income ratio. How did I get this house? My income is more consistent because I got a salary job. You got a business, maybe your income is not as reliable as my income. Maybe that's why you get denied and I didn't get denied. They don't want to look at their behaviors. They only want to look at the outcomes. And then when they get different outcomes from other people, they want to get mad at the disparity. But then I ask them the question, hey, did you do the same behaviors? Do you approach it the same way they did? Because you can't get mad that Stephen Curry shoots 44% from the three and you only shoot 19% from the three, but your shooting form looks a lot different from his shooting form. But you want to be entitled to the same outcomes because you share skin color with him. Make it make sense. These photos are just 1% of the damage done to our school by someone who was black, as you can see. And this is the crab in a barrel mentality that many black people highlights in toxic black culture. If I were to be fair, it's black people hating on each other for success because you shine a light on something that they thought was impossible. So here's a guy. You really believe black people will burn down your school? Yes. Yes. And to me, I always find it funny. Like these people who pretend that they're so black, they're so ignorant about the behaviors of what black people do. Like this is the first time they heard about crabs in a barrel mentality. You want another example? Actually, I want to highlight this because black people online, they like to pretend that they're so united online, right? They're like, oh, we need to stand with each other. This is insane. Why would you try to stop people from donating to an HBCU just because the kids got invited to want to perform at Donald Trump's inauguration? The left are absolutely vile. But this is something known in black culture that when black people are seceding or black people are trying to do something differently from what the crowd wants, this is how they conduct themselves. Because a lot of these pro-black people, they're fake pro-black. And this is something I talked about a lot on my channel, that black Democrats are not pro-black. They're just pro-Democrat, pretending to be pro-black. Any black person that's trying to convince and prevent Mississippi Valley State University from performing at the inauguration is pro-Democrat and not pro-black. F your Democrat allegiance. These kids deserve to get to perform on one of the largest stage in history. Y'all think y'all supposed to throw away opportunities for some MFer that are more concerned about upsetting their Democratic base? Hell nah. Can't say ish about no Klan rally when all we know is the Democratic Party is the home for all the Klan organizations that formed across the country. And black people who stand against black Democrats get called coons. For what? Because in black culture, you made Democrats synonymous with being black. Insane to see supposedly pro-black people tearing down an HBCU because they are invited to perform at Donald Trump's inauguration. A lot of they are just pro-Democrat, but disguise it as pro-black rhetoric. Exactly. And you do anything against them, oh, you not us, right? It's the same tactics that I pointed out what the liberals do on the left. Hey, if you do anything that's agreeing with Trump, you're Hitler, you're this, trying to make you guilty of association. This is tactics of Democrats. This is the tactics of the left. And because the majority of the black community is on the left, 77% of black men are Democrats, they think that if you don't align with them politically, you're somehow anti-black. Like, for instance, oh, no black man owns an Android, and if I own an Android, oh, you're cool because you own an Android. This is how it is telling someone that they're a coon because of their political beliefs. Just because they believe there's a different political remedy for the problems that's affecting your people, you want to call them a coon. How is that pro-black? Make it make sense. But this is the crab in the barrel mentality that I'm highlighting here in this video. And I have one more video from Jeremy. Jeremy makes a good argument here in this clip in his reaction to another black American.
Mississippi Valley State University was just invited to Trump's inauguration to play for the entire world to hear. And HBCU, I mean, these kids been playing since they were probably little kids. These kids been playing instruments since 2nd, 3rd, 4th grade. And they're about to be on a world stage for Germany to hear them, Denmark to hear them, Africa can hear them, Australia's going to hear them. Everybody's going to be watching his inauguration, hearing these young black kids that grew up and dreamed of playing on a world stage for everybody to hear. This is one of the biggest stages they ever going to play on. And guess who's got a problem with it? Black people. Black people. Now, see, black people didn't have a problem when Kamala Harris had Beyonce paying her $10 million. Didn't have a problem paying Meg Thee Stallion.
I mean, he's on point. The same black people who are mad that Trump invited an HBCU band to play are the same people who complain about black people not being invited to the table. They don't give black people any opportunities. They don't want to see us shine. They're always trying to hold us back. Then Trump invites an HBCU to play at his inauguration, and then it's a problem. This is just proof that he can do no right. Many of these people have made it up in their mind that no matter what he does, it's bad. And no matter what side he takes, I'm going to take the opposite and say it's bad. That is what it seems like. Again, you're complaining about us not having a seat at the table, not getting invited to things, people not seeing our true talents. Then an HBCU band gets invited to the event and you're still complaining. This is why we shouldn't take many of you seriously. No matter what it is, you're going to complain. And people wonder why we struggle. Many of us don't even realize that our own racist attitudes actually lock us out of many opportunities that could drastically change our lives. And as a result of that, we continue to struggle more than we need to. Hopefully one day we'll wake up.
Exactly. I wrote here that withdrawing ourselves and calling it discrimination, I think this is the behavior that I think he's articulating about, is this idea that when you are invited in the space, you withdraw yourself, right? And this is why I'm talking about this race exclusivity that black people practice a lot. Oh, I want to date within my own race. I want to do all that. But God forbid a white person said that. God forbid a Hispanic person said that. God forbid an Asian person said that, right? Because black people in my comment section are, I'm sorry, not black people in my comment section. Black people in my life when I was growing up, right? We used to talk about how Indian people, they in Black America's mind, they go, oh, Indian people don't like us either. They're the most racist people outside of white people. Talking about Asians, because in the hood, Asians own the weave stores. The Indians had the gas stations, and Indians and Asians, which they're both Asians technically, but in an American sense, this is where I'm talking about. They'll do the same thing that racial profiling. Hey, they lock themselves behind the thing because they're reacting to the behavior of the community. And this is what I always talk about in my channel. Your behavior determines your outcomes more than your skin color, right? To me, if you do the same behaviors as another individual, you're likely to get the same results. It's like an equation. It's a math equation. If I save my money, I invest, I'm going to have more wealth than the person that just spends all their money and buys liabilities, right? But then you can't get mad at me that I have more wealth than you do when I chose to do something differently with my money, behavior. And it seems like black people in the culture, there's an incentive structure in our culture, in the black culture, to not want to look at your behaviors, but to blame everything on your race. And I think that is what's holding black people back. I honestly believe that. It's a fixed mindset. You fix your outcomes based on your skin color. And then you use your skin color as some type of alibi for all your negative outcomes in life. Oh, I didn't get that job because of my skin color. Oh, they didn't like me because of my skin color. Oh, they didn't like me because I'm black. No, you have a shitty attitude. That's why they don't like you. You loud for no reason. You're not considerate of other people. You expect people to be considerate of you, but you're not considerate of other people. This is why it goes back to equal treatment. Because the reality is, if a lot of the people acted like how black people acted, like black people have been complaining about racism and privilege, when every example that I showed you so far was an example of someone can say, hey, you got black privilege because you got jobs out here looking exclusively for you. They got quotas for you. And even if I'm more qualified, you fit a quota, they're more likely to hire you than a white person. White people are net negative in jobs since February 2020, and everyone else is positive. But you said, oh, that's not discrimination. Oh, actually, we're owed this discrimination because of our ancestors were discriminated in the past. And people are asking you the question, were you discriminated against? The answer is no. So you piggybacking off the struggle, off the problems faced by your ancestors to use to justify you getting privilege today. And that's the reality of a lot of the tactics that's being employed by many people in the black community. This is why many reasons why black people vote Democrat, because they know black Democrats will push policies that give them an advantage, privilege, leverage. This is why they vote for Democrats. Because in reality, and this is just my encapsulation of the thoughts, you can disagree, you can get mad. My encapsulation is black people are not looking for equality. Many black Democrats, actually, which is majority of the black community, are not looking for equality. They're looking for privilege. They're looking for power. And they're just using equality as a shield to mask their true political intentions. This is just my thoughts. You want to punish people. You want to discriminate against people that had nothing to personally do with slavery because they happen to share the same skin color as people who did practice slavery. But you don't look at their party affiliations. All the slave owners were Democrats. Y'all ain't worrying about that though, because politically it benefits you now to align yourselves with Democrats. And this is something I highlight a lot on this channel. Imagine that if people judged black people all as criminals because 50% of the crime are done by black people, and because you share the same skin color as people who commit disproportional amount of crime, that people inherently associate you with something bad, you will call it racist. But black people don't hold themselves to the same standard when they automatically associate behaviors with a white person or their negative interactions with a white person or other groups of people for that matter as racist. Make it make sense. And this is what we're talking about. You guys are pushing the very things, this very damn thing you say you're fighting against. Black people sit here day and night and said that they're fighting against racism. But many of these people, many people in our community are literally using racism to justify discrimination against other people and telling them, no, you can't be racist, but I can be racist. This is the fruits of your behavior. And many people are starting to get intolerant of that stuff now. Many people are more willing to call out, hey, look, you're practicing racism. If you're really against racism, as you said you are, black people, you should be calling out DEI as racism under new management, which it is. Just like when men call out feminists for saying, okay, feminists, if you're really about gender equality, look at the disparities that are favoring women. Women are more likely to graduate medical school now. Women are going to college at a disproportional rate compared to men. Why aren't you fighting for equality here? And it's a tactic to call out your hypocrisy because you're not about equal treatment. You're not about equality. You're just trying to gain power. And you're using equality as a skin suit to justify your pursuit of power and trying to disguise your pursuit of power. And this is the reality. And I think many other racial groups in America are waking up to this. And I want to call out one more thing. Black people, you need to stop worrying about what white people are doing, honestly. Because I don't know if you looked around the country lately, but it's not just white people that's in this country. So how is non-white people being more successful than white people? Look at the Asians. Look at the Indian communities. Hell, look at black immigrants. Black immigrants, there's some black immigrants like the Nigerians. They have a higher average income than white America. Yet you continuously compare yourself to white America. I don't understand that. And you want to cry about, oh, only white people are focused on race. No, it's you. You're projecting. And you need to stop if you want to move forward. And I think this is why a lot of black people in our culture today, this is why I said the civil rights era, the rhetoric for the civil rights era, it's dead now because a lot of black people have used up all the moral capital that was created by their ancestors. They use it all up. Like generational wealth. You use it all up and you have nothing to pass down to the next generation. Because I'm going to guarantee you this. Your grandkids, some of your kids are dealing with this now. People ain't taking the accusation of racism as seriously as they used to be before. Now a lot of people are more skeptical of claims of racism from black people than they used to be before, because of the fact that many people have observed accurately, I may add, that a lot of black people are using racism as an alibi, as a shield and sword to attack and defend themselves against criticism. I'll let you know. I'd like to know your thoughts in the comment section below. Let me know your thoughts on my thoughts on this matter. I'd like to hear what you guys are thinking on the comment section below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Appreciate you guys watching to the end of the video, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.